Welcome back, everyone. GSL, Middle Division Week 2. We've got a great game coming up for you today. We have Circadian Rhythm versus Underscore. Two teams at the top of the table. Circadian Rhythm, with the points diff, being the only team to take a 2-0 win. But Underscore going to have a point to prove here today, beating the top of the table, putting themselves at the top. I'm Pentacruel here on cast, and with me we have Printers on production and Lockie breaking everything down for you. Hello, Lockie.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Nice to be here indeed. Right, I think we've wasted enough time already. Let's get into picks and bans. Now, Lockie, we saw some pretty interesting picks in some of the Underscore games. We saw the Giannis getting picked up by Blakey Meow. Something we don't get to see quite a lot. It's kind of one of those picks that it's better if it's a pick that's good on certain people. It's not so favoured as much in the matter. Can we expect to see any spicier picks today from the Chaos side team?
Yeah, I think Blakey Meow will definitely look to go back to the Giannis. It's a comfort pick of his. I wouldn't hate a ban towards the red team for against the Giannis, just to take him away from it, make sure he's not on it. But at the moment we see sort of the standard bans coming out. Marty and Hatchie, top two in their roles, I'd say at the moment.
Yep, so more of the same. We're seeing Nox banned out by Circadian Rhythm. Not too much else to shout out here as we come around to these picks and bans. Are there any god-specific, any player-specific bans you would like to have seen? As I say that War get taken off the table as well as the Hercules. Comes into these first picks, what should these teams be prioritising?
There's a lot of pretty decent picks still open.
Surely Verman, is he still open?
Yeah, Verman is open, but I was also thinking Guan Yu here, and they do lock it in. He's got nerfed, but he's still top of the meta really. It's Guan Yu. He's never going to really be that bad. He brings the sustain, brings the prot shred, and he's got his ultimate that is just so strong for team fights, but also so safe in lane. He just sort of a well-rounded pick, to be honest, especially with Hercules off the board. It's good. As we see Giannis getting picked up.
Well, predicted correctly, Giannis picked up yet again for Blakey Meow. Put on quite the show with it in the last game that they played. Hopefully, more of the same. What is it so much about Giannis that Underscore value?
I think Giannis, with his pen buffs and one of the recent patches, definitely a lot stronger. He's historically struggled against tanks, just not having the consistent damage like other mages do bring. But I think now he's got the inbuilt pen, he is a lot stronger. I think he is definitely worth a top 3 pick, if not top 2, like Underscore have done.
Yep, Underscore answering in kind. Bacchus and Thor picked up alongside that Guan Yu. Thor going out to the Order side team. Last pick here on the first phase of bans. Underscore rounding off their draft. A couple of roles still left to pick. Support and mid, you would imagine, being picked up. We're going to pick up the X-Ball with Hatchiman being banned away, probably being with the top pick, as you mentioned in the role. What is it about X-Ball that makes him one of the kind of second or third picks that a team would like to prioritise?
I think it's to pick the ADC and then be able to ban away the other top ADCs, in the second phase. X-Ball, he's definitely been rising back up in the meta. The build doesn't feel overly amazing on him. He suits the pen build, but without trans, you have to be careful with your mana usage. But it does open you up to being able to ban away the Rama and the Cernos, who are sort of top 2 ADCs outside of Hatchiman in their role right now. So I don't hate it before the second phase ban.
We're seeing some role-specific bans banned away here by Underscore, taking those ADCs that are going to be able to Match, Xblanque in lane, Ram and Kernanos made it quite far into the picks and bans before being taken away. On the other side, we're seeing ESET taken away, something that we're seeing a little bit more now. Would you have expected that to have been a big factor in what Circadian Rhythm? What was in underscore? Sorry, what was the idea behind the? As we see, Ratatoska picked up yet again. Do you see an action plan here for either team? What can we expect to see?
I think the ESET ban was quite good. It's got a good matchup into Bacchus and Guan Yu being able to silence out the channeled abilities. But the Banana ban is still good as well.
They will all obey their goddess.
The backline both locked in for Circadian Rhythm.
Yep, powerful backline indeed. Agni and Ishtar somehow making it through the picks and ban phase, getting to the bottom 2 picks. I think it's just a little bit of a show into just how many powerful picks are available into these roles, and Agni and Ishtar make it all the way through to the last stages of the ban of the pick phase. Underscore rounding that off with Jing Chen. So overall, some very good team comps. I'm liking Circadian Rhythms a little bit more at the minute. What are your thoughts?
It's a hard one to call. I think Underscore bring a lot of team fight. With the Jing Chen Ultima, Expo and Yamoja, such strong team fight ultimates. But at the same time, Circadian Rhythm, they have a lot of pressure. They have the Guan Yu.
Yep.
They have Ishtar in lane, and the Thor from the jungle. So it's kind of, Underscore lean more towards the late game, Circadian Rhythm much more towards the early. But they do have the Agni to bring that late game pro-ass.
Yeah, seeing a couple more gods in the Guardian class, I'd say the support role, but we're seeing Yamoja picked up by Underscore. So looking like Mirandus going back to these not so conventional solo lane picks. We obviously saw Mirandus go with the Athena and the Zhonghui last game week. How do you think Jing Chen is going to fare up against the Guan Yu?
I think it's not the greatest matchup. You don't have any way of peeling off the Talos Assault because your 2 just doesn't cancel it. But it's safe. Jing Chen's probably one of the safest solo laners. You've got the double leap, and you've got the CC Moon Ultima, and you can sort of reduce the auto attack damage with your one. So it's safe. I'm guessing Crab's going to be looking to just stalemate the lane, play for the late game, and then group up and sort of play like that sort of secondary support in a way, and play around the team, let your Moja engage, and just sort of set up for the rest of the team.
Yep, definitely a very hot dive. I apologise. Heavy comp we have here on Underscore. So a lot to be worried about from Circadian Rhythm. Just while we're waiting around here for this game to start, Circadian Rhythm's team, we're seeing a little bit. We see Underscore go towards the dive. We've got a lot of work coming out here from, Janus, Ratatoska, Jing Chen. The double Guardian is very clearly a very, very aggressive strategy here. Jing Chen and Ratatoska are going to be very, very instrumental in how this team decides to play the fight. But Circadian Rhythm, like you said, they seem to have a bit more of a balanced draft. They have Thor, who's going to be very, very powerful for them in diving the backline, but safety as well in their backline, Ishtar and Agni. How do you think they're going to fare into the dive able to bring this team comp?
To be honest, I think they might struggle. Agni, lack of CCT immunity for the Jing Chen, the Rat ults, and no real way of escaping your Moja roll outside of Phantom Shot. Phantom Shot is likely going to be built by Bacchus, and Bacchus is not necessarily going to be the one to peel. But I think the Ishtar might also struggle as well. The dash is very, very easy to block. I think personally she's fallen off quite significantly
Mhm.
after her recent nerfs. She still brings the pressure early game, but her ultimate just feels like slapping someone with a wet fish. It really doesn't do much.
Well, just on that note, we are just going to go to a quick break whilst the two teams sort out getting game number one. We'll be back in just a minute.
Joe's a dog. Joe's a dog. Dog, dog, dog. Joe, dog, dog. Joe, dog, dog. Joe, dog, dog.
Welcome back. Do not adjust your screens. We have made a little bit of a boo-boo. It's 6 minutes into the game, 1-1. Apologies. Bit of an error with the spectator not being able to rewind. Unfortunately, you've missed a little bit of the action in the early game, but we're still going to be able to bring you game 1 here. As we see kills going towards both sides of the junglers, both solo laners with an assist and a death. So maybe signs early on, solo lane is going to be where we see the action. Not too much of a lead by any team. 500 gold for Circadian Rhythm, but nothing to scoff at the minute. Lockie, we were talking a little bit about the comps before we went to the break. As we see Miranda's coming around the shield buff, we're seeing a little bit of attention onto this left side. Nothing looks to happen as of yet. But Lockie, these two teams, we're seeing a little bit of action towards the solo lane in the early game. Who out of Circadian Rhythm and Underscore do you feel that this favours?
I'd go towards Circadian Rhythm, but they need to get something out of that. You know, whether that's a buff invade, whether that is first blood, that'll be a mystery forever. Whether they get an objective off of it, it just needs to go.
Ratatosk got up into the air, onto the horse goes Coconut, but River's Rebukes have gone down to cut off the exit, and that will go towards Miranda's there. Beautiful gank by Underscore. It was a bit odd to see Kino make the early rotation, but it was very clearly premeditated there. Ultimates used on the support and the jungler, but they'll be very happy to put another kill down onto the side of that Guan Yu. Something else we haven't quite mentioned yet, Miranda's in the jungle. He had a little bit of a stint in the solo lane. We mentioned the not so conventional picks that he was picking, but do you feel Miranda's is stronger in the jungle? Is that why Underscore placed him there?
Yeah, I think the role swap definitely could have helped there. I think they performed better with Crab in the solo lane and Miranda's in the jungle.
So much damage there, Blakey Meow. Agni making it through late into the draft and showing why he is still one of the best mid laners at the minute. Beautiful combinations there from Munchies, knocking up Blakey Meow. Maybe not going to be such an easy game for Blakey Meow this time. We saw quite an early dominant lead from Underscore, which allowed Blakey to get ahead, pumping out those big damage numbers as we see Circadian Rhythm turning their attention towards the Gold Fury. Ratatosk not quite up yet, so a little bit of a slow response there by Underscore. Circadian Rhythm going to take the Gold Fury and back out as the through space and time comes out a little bit too slow for the team to rotate round, but early Gold Fury there, 9 minutes for Circadian Rhythm.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Circadian Rhythm. You know, they've got the early pressure, they need to leverage it. Ishtar is one of the best ADCs in the game, despite her nerfs at burning objectives. You know, she's got the shotgun autos, and she can shred it really quickly. So we're same with Agni really with his shorter cooldowns. So yeah, definitely a big win for Circadian Rhythm despite losing out on the second death and right.
Pyromancer not up quite yet, so not going to see much of a rotation by either team to try and secure that secondary objective, as it does respawn just now. We see a little bit of fighting over in the solo lane. Coconut getting the better of Crab in that instance. Not quite having TP up just yet. Oh, yeah, mistook the relic there for TP. Crab will be able to teleport back into lane, so not too much of an issue. As we see teams make a little bit more of a presence round this Pyromancer. Second objective may be quite important for each team. As we see Circadian Rhythm have taken an early lead in this game, just about over 1,000 gold, but comfortable. As we said, Circadian Rhythm, it's important for them to get ahead with this team comp that they have. Miranda's venturing further and further around the back, perhaps trying to get a better advantage into this team fight. As we see a lot of damage down onto Ghosty Mars. Beautifully done there. The mid laner forced to jump out. Ultimate onto Ratatosk. Thor beautifully predicts it up into the Anvil of Dawn, and we'll just ult out there. Little bits of scrappy fights here, but that probably goes advantage to Underscore here. Thor ult down. I guess you could say that's 2 ultimates down on the side of Underscore. So this is going to be quite a scrappy Pyromancer right here, Lockie.
Yeah, even Xbelonq ult went down there as well. So that's sort of 3 for 1 ultimates used there. So yeah, definitely a win for Circadian Rhythm, I'd say. Hopefully got the pressure around the next objective, but if they want to go for it, sort of within the next minute or so.
And as an ADC yourself, I think it would be silly if we didn't get your opinion on this. So we Ishtar versus the Xbelonq. What are your opinions on this matchup? You mentioned that you felt like Ishtar had fallen out of meta as we see Miranda's attempt to gank out Coconut, who will be forced to go up onto the Talos Assault, but nothing else to come of it. But back to the ADC lane. Held on, however. Sasuke taking a lot of damage, forced to jump out there. Maybe that's answered my question for you. How do you feel that this duo lane is going to go?
So, Ishtar, she gets a lot of pressure in the early game, and that's just going to happen. Xbelonq didn't have Kins finished in that little exchange there, so you could argue that maybe that was the difference maker there. But boxing one-on-one, it's very, very tight, and you know, Ishtar ult can cripple out and stun out the X-Bowl, but also at the same time, depending on Sasuke's reactions, you can just dash out of it when you see her winding it up. So it's just one of those matchups that's pretty even for the most part, and yeah, there's potential for fireworks, but could also be a stalemate.
We saw some late bans in the ADC role. Would you have preferred to see anything else pick up? Oh, hold that thought, just as we see a little bit of aggression go towards Blakey Meow. The mid laner is not having an easy time of it, as he did in the last game, as we see River's Rebuke go up, Thor into the ultimate. Blakey Meow just manages to get out of the fight. Solo lane rotation in by Crab, taking a little bit of poke, but buying his team some space. Decent little scrap by both teams there. Blakey Meow just managing to escape out. Circadian Rhythm, though, going to turn their attention to this Pyromancer. Neither team wanting to commit too much at the minute. Just taking a bit of a defensive stance out. Through space and time goes down, but not confirmed it yet. Circadian Rhythm will say thank you very, very much. Easily picked up there by Ghostly. Looks like he will lose his life. Couple of kills going out in response. Solo laner on the side of Underscore killed by Scrungo Bepis. And that looks like it will peter out there, but it's a 2-1 kill advantage for Circadian Rhythm, who also pick up the Pyromancer.
Yeah, that's definitely a win in the favour of Circadian Rhythm. Yeah, 2 for 1 and a Pyro. You're going to get a nice little gold lead, and hopefully, you know, for them they can snowball it into the the Primal Fury that's coming up. Yeah, not a huge XP lead across the board, actually. You know, in the mid lane, Blakey Meow's got the lead over Ghosty Miles, which you could argue you'd expect from a Janus, but a 2-level lead now, no, sorry, 1-level lead is still very, very good. Nothing to scoff at.
Definitely not, as we see that's 2 objectives now go down to the side of Circadian Rhythm, as we see a little bit of dance around the Gold Fury by the Order side, looking to get a little bit of ward vision around for committing to this Fury. Not quite a response here from Underscore. Not sure if they know who it is. It looks like Kino is aware. Through space and time doesn't hit the Gold Fury. Maybe now is the time for Circadian Rhythm to push the trigger. They say no, they want the fight instead. That's Blakey Meow taking a lot of damage. But it looks like Underscore will pick up the Fury instead. Miranda's coming around the backside. Turns his attention to Gout of the World, who has to zone his way away from Miranda's. Sasuke, though, has dashed straight into the ADC. That's a pickup, that's a kill to the Underscore ADC. The team want more, however. They're dashing on forward. Miranda's getting the stun onto the support. That's another kill there for Miranda's. 5-1-1 for the jungler. He's having a very, very good game at the minute, but seemingly a good fight, a good start to the fight there by Circadian Rhythm. But Underscore coming out on top with the Fury as well.
Yeah, that's slightly criminal that Blake Meow gets out. Oh, as Miranda picks up the kill on its speed buff. Woo.
Oh no, that is unfortunate. Not what you want to see there, but very well played, Miranda's. 6-1-1, as we were saying. But carrying on with this the talk with the objective fight that we just saw?
Yeah, I think Mirandus kind of went huge there. You know, I fully expected Blakey Meow to die. Gordy's fine, and he managed to slither away. You know, Giannis is so slippery, he gets out. But in the meantime, you know, both of Circadian Rhythm's carries were just zoned out by this Ratatoska. The ultimate is such a powerful ability in the early game, especially. And obviously, right with the Acorn, gets the early pressure. So that's kind of like what you're expecting from Underscore to carry through the early game. And Randus is playing that very, very well right now. You know, he managed to get the double kill. Oh, sorry, not double kill, but getting sort of zoning off both their backline. And yeah, Circadian Rhythm need to sort of answer that. You know, the Bacchus needs to come back and peel, set up for them. But,
Ultimate used there by Gout of this World. Maybe just a bit defensively, a bit nervous about the 6-1 Ratatoska running down towards the purple buff there, but a bit unnecessary. Maybe that'll be a big ability to be down for the next few minutes. Gold Fury only about a minute 30 away. But we're seeing something that we see quite a bit more that this start of the season especially. It's Battle of the Junglers right now. 3-1 is Strongo Bepis, not having any spoil game to scoff at just either. But Mirandus is there very clearly being the so-called throughput of his team, as we see Blakey Mao yet again having to use through space and time defensively. Mirandus up onto the branches there. Slams down, doesn't hit home much. It's yet again just to allow Blakey Meow to disengage. Another fight round this Pyromancer side. Not too much for afters. It looks as if though Underscore are going to turn their attention to this next objective, hoping to carry on a little bit more of this pressure that they've managed to gain up a 2,000-ish gold lead now for Underscore. Do you feel that they're executing the dive? Because we're seeing Mirandus execute very well, but the Circadian Rhythm are almost managing to dive onto Blakey Meow before anything is done. Like, how is Circadian Rhythm managing to fight on even terms with Underscore at the minute?
Yeah, I think the Thor ult needs to be used to chase down this Giannis. You know, Blakey Meow is getting out such low health. See a gank on the left lane.
Gank on the left lane indeed. Rivers Rebuke down. That's a beads used by Gout of the World, but just too low there to get out of the situation. Thor ult used, but yet again, nothing really comes of it. MVB Sasuke using the Aegis and getting out just fine. So that's a kill going over towards Underscore, and an important one now. 5 seconds until the Gold Fury spawn. You'd think that this is a time to pull the trigger on this Gold Fury.
Yeah, definitely. Although we do see grouping in the right side jungle. So potentially opting to go towards Pyromancer instead.
Yep, bit of an invade turn towards this Pyromancer. There's a bit of a debate about how valuable a Pyromancer is. You see, it seems quite a lot taking that trade, losing the Gold Fury and just moving over to the Pyromancer. Is it that worthy of a trade, or is it maybe the relic, the Pyromancer bomb that is more important for teams? As we see Fire Giant started up in response to this tier 2 tower push by Circadian Rhythm. No one really here to respond to it. That will be a free Fire Giant for Underscore. 19 minutes and 30 seconds into the game as Gout of the World manages to take down Miranda. 6-1 Ratatoska finally put in the ground. But still, Mirandus, for a sub 20-minute Fire Giant, Underscore will be taking that every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a big shutdown kill for Get Out of This World. So, yeah, that's the kind of person you wanted to be on your ADC.
Yeah.
Like you may be the Agni, but getting your ADC to catch up, you know, it was a 2 to 3 level deficit in the role. So, yeah, getting it on to Get Out of This World is pretty impactful for them. So that's a sort of saving grace. Although, yeah, good heads-up play from Underscore to pull the FG. The gold level lead is not the same, or not as high as expected.
Thor ult used very early there through space and time too, as it looks like the fight will be straight on top of this Gold Fury. Circadian Rhythm managed to secure the objective. Strongo Bepis has to use his hammer to escape. That is Rivers Rebuke down, doesn't catch anyone. It looks like Munchies will be good enough to get out of here. It's a lot of abilities used on the side of Underscore, but Circadian Rhythm just able to walk out scot-free.
Yeah, that's a little bit criminal.
It wasn't maybe the best place Rivers Rebuke there by Kino.
Well, potentially not. I think obviously the team with the Fire Giant at early doors of the game, getting Fire Giant's such an impactful tool, but obviously losing Gold Fury is a little bit unfortunate for them. You see the gold deficit now is
It's
not
barely anything. Yeah.
So it's what I want to see from Circadian Rhythm here is defend your tier 2s, don't let the gold leads get any bigger, and just be there for the next Fire Giant.
Yep, this is the time for Circadian Rhythm, who've been in this game. It's 4-8, Fire Giant on the side of Underscore, but this has been a pretty neck and neck game this entire time. Underscore just managing to get the edge around these big objectives, but as we said, the gold lead non-existent. So you'd like to see Circadian Rhythm defend up these tier 2s. There's no reason why they should be too scared. The biggest XP lead is we're seeing in mid is just a 2-level lead. Not really that much to scoff at here. Circadian Rhythm looking like they're going to be able to see out the rest of this Fire Giant, looking to set themselves up for the next one, which will spawn just around a minute 20. We're just seeing here a little bit of a invade attempt by Crab. Not anything else happening there. Late into the game, we're seeing some level 20s coming out. We're seeing full builds start to come into the picture. Which team are you favouring? Is this Underscore's game to lose?
I think going into the late game is definitely favouring Underscore. At the same time, I think Circadian Rhythm definitely on out of this game. They have the Agni late game. Ishtar scales very, very well. They've got the sustain from the Guan Yu, and they have to chase down for this Janus with the Thor ult. He just needs to look for the counter engage, wait for Janus to use his portals, and he can definitely one shot, or if he chooses to go for the X-Bot.
3 Pyromancer taken up there. Not a lot of response by Circadian Rhythm. Probably not wanting to put themselves in too much danger. 6 seconds left on this Fire Giant. Not in the best position to defend. Not a lot of ward vision around there. Mainly dominated by very aggressive wards there by Underscore. So it's going to be pretty hard for them to be able to get round to the back and get to a good position where they're going to defend. I would keep your eye on Mirandus at the beginning of this fight for an early Ratatoska ultimate, as we're seeing Thor split push down in the left, trying to close that gap onto the jungler. We'll probably start to see him rotate right about now, as it looks like no, Underscore will not commit to the objective. Ratatoska's backing. Would you have liked to have seen them pull the trigger on the objective there with Thor all the way on the left side of the map?
Yeah, I'm guessing not aware where the Thor is. Potentially, it's a little bit strange to send Mirandus over there. I think maybe afraid of the split push potentially, and just rather play the safer option as they pick up the Fire Giant now.
Well, they'll pick it up now. Less of a response here by Circadian Rhythm, so maybe it was all meditated there from Underscore. Just Coconut, who manages to zone off members of Underscore on his own, taking a lot of damage though, has to go up onto the Tallow Assault just to get out of danger. Just to bear in mind as well though, Mirandus' ult was used in that engagement, and Coconut has TP, so very big ultimate to be down on the side of Underscore here. Coconut going to be able to just walk his way back round. Circadian Rhythm surely can take their time with this one now.
Yeah, definitely. I think
they have to use the Thor ult here, surely.
Yeah. The Thor's just sort of got to look for the back line, try and look for burn relics or get a kill. It's all sort of on his shoulders at the moment. As they sort of all group up for the Fire Giant again.
Grouping up around the Fire Giant, not too much, just a little bit of back and forth by each team. Both, however, have built sustain into their comp, so won't be too worried about that. Just taking a look at the damage numbers. dominated mainly, surprisingly, by Crab, who's managed to pull out 11,000 player damage. Huge numbers there, surprisingly, when you can just see that the mid laners each only just under about 9,000 each. So Crab being able to put in work there with just that Spear of Desolation. So we're seeing a zone coming out from the Jingchen. River's Rebuke goes down into the back there. We're seeing a lot of bombs go down, a lot of low health bars. Ultimate used by Shivalonke. No one can see what's going on. Coconut manages to get up a kill here. Gout of the World, however, falls to the other team. And we see a ultimate go up. Ratatoska into the backline, trying to catch Ghosty Mars out. The bombs are not good. Thorol misses as well, but Mirandus has been hit by the stun. Unfortunately, will fall there. So that's a 2-4-2 on the side of going towards the side of Underscore. However, health bars are looking a little bit better as they decide to back off. No team looking towards a fire giant at this moment, but a couple of kills each, maybe a little bit of a litmus test for the bigger fight that's to come. So we'll be seeing how that goes.
I think Underscore definitely came out healthier with the remaining members, but they were a man down, and you know there is the potential that Circadian Rhythm can just steal it away with the Guan sustain. They can step back in. I think Scourge of Epis obviously held his ult a little bit longer than I would like to see. We were talking about just before the fight. As they pick up the Fire Giant themselves now, and
picking up the Fire Giant themselves. Yep. We see the Shivalonke has made his way all the way to the left side of the map, and we see two people still back in the base of Underscore. Surely this is a full-on engage here from Circadian Rhythm. Not much to worry about here, as it is only Kino to defend, who unsuccessfully manages that Circadian Rhythm Fire Giant very cleanly there. And, I mean, just no response from Underscore. Very, very well shot called there by Circadian Rhythm.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a strange call from Underscore just to leave the Fire Giant.
A little bit of sleep at the wheel, I think you could say.
A little bit. They've crashed, they burned.
Yep.
Behind the wheel. The early game comp has now taken the Fire Giant and is running up middle lane. I'd really like to see this Phantom Shell get online from Munchies as the fight goes on.
That's a good ultimate there by Crab, throwing two under the tower. Kino picks up the double kill support, saying thank you very much to his solo laner as Ratatoska goes up into the air. MVB Sasuke and Blakey Meow wiping up the remaining members. And as we were just singing Circadian Rhythm's praises, Underscore slam the lid onto Circadian Rhythm, and looks like they will be taking game one in a total 180 to the run of play.
Just as I say, you know, the early game comp has pulled the Fire Giant. The late game comp shows why that's the late game comp, right? You know, that's exactly right. You know, you merge Jing Chen, you don't have beads, you die. You don't have Phantom Shell on the back of, you die. You know, it's GG's from there.
Think we need to if you can go back and look at that clip, it was genuinely amazing from each member. Crab, very, very good ultimate there to pluck two members, more specifically the Agni, who didn't have relics up straight into the tower. But even more by Kino, a beautiful River's Rebuke there, trapping both members into the tower. And then it was just collapsing on the remaining members. It really was a little bit of a lapse around the Fire Giant, a little bit of maybe just a loss of concentration, but Underscore there showing that they just have much, much superior team fighting. Circadian Rhythm, though, what do they need to change about their game plan?
I'd like to see a little bit more pressure towards the late game in their draft. They had a lot of early game picks. You know, the Agni definitely steers more towards the late game, but had a good game, top damage. But definitely got camped in the early a little bit. I think I'd like to see maybe a little bit more towards the late game. Player on the late game. Don't force the fights early, because a lot of the early deaths came from going for this Yanis.
Yep.
But Blakey Meow just managed to slither away, and we just wouldn't die. So they would lose 1-2 people and not get a kill in return.
Yep, and we mentioned Strongo Baptist just a little bit. Unfortunate with some of the ults. It looked like maybe just a slight bit of hesitation or just a lateness of using the ability. Is the Thor a good idea for the game 2, or is it maybe would you like to see Stronger Beppis on something else?
I'd personally like to see them ban away this Yanis. I think Blakey Meow has had such a good game on the Yanis. I think the Thor pick is obviously a very good pick into Yanis being, having the chase down potential that a lot of junglers don't have, being able to wall him off in theory from his portals of the world times 2. It's a good pick into Yanis, but I think he might have held on to his ults a little bit, so potentially a little bit rusty on that pick. But I think the main thing is potentially ban away this Yanis and look for a more comfortable pick from the jungle.
Well, Stronger Beppis has shown that he can play the Ratatosker in the last set. Wondering if he will take a leaf out of Mirandas's book and pick up the other jungler, or will he stick with the Thor? We'll find out in just a minute after this break.
I don't apologise for the technical issues.
Handle. Talking a little bit about the drafts that they had, Circadian Rhythm, maybe not drafting too much to the strengths that they wanted to play through. So adjustments that we're going to expect to see, Lockie. We were talking about them a little bit. Maybe changes in jungle. What can we say that Underscore need to do to ensure more of the same for them?
Yeah, I think their draft to me looked like a draft they thought through. You know, the Xing Chen solos pick that you don't really pick off the whim. You're kind of planning for it. Even before loading in the picks and bans, really. So, you're building a team around that sort of setup that you wouldn't get from a traditional solo laner.
And I think it's good to note. Crab had a very convincing game on it, like 20 or so minutes into the game, top damage. So clearly a god that he's comfortable on.
Yeah, absolutely. Spirideso start with Convoy Gem. You know, you're going to get a good bit of damage from that, and the backline might not predict it. As you see the respect ban coming out.
Respect ban for the Ratatoska. Yep, Circadian Rhythm not wanting to deal with the dive that Ratatoska is able to bring. Miranda's going to have to go a little bit deeper into his god pool as Hercules rounds off our last round of bans here. Top pick last time.
Circadian Rhythm did ban away the Hebo, so I'm interested to see it, but they actually opted for the Yanis, which
Picking
I
up
like.
the Yanis. Yep, taking it away from Blakey Meow. Top picking this mid lane mage was Underscore last time, so Circadian Rhythm also letting Blakey Meow dig a little bit deeper into the god pool, but are we expecting a bit of a dive comp here from Circadian Rhythm, or is this purely just to take the god away from Blakey Meow?
I think it's mostly take it away from Blakey Meow, but as you see the Susano, that classic counter pick is locked in from Underscore, so something maybe they didn't think about when picking up the gods. You know, they've obviously given away Gonyu as well. If looking to take it away from Blakey Meow, but Susano is open.
Susano is open, picked up by Underscore. Guan Yu will round off the first two picks. Very high prioritized solo laners. We're seeing them picked up a lot in this first. They're just too strong to pass up here. These solo laners like Guan Yu. Vamana, though, strangely enough, not prioritized by either team. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, the recent nerfs and the bonus balance patch did affect him quite a lot. Sun Wukong definitely been rising up in the meta, and he is being popular at the moment. So it'd be an interesting pick. I think he's got a good matchup into Guan Yu. So we see how Coconut performs in it. I know for a fact he's got a good Wukong. Hopefully Coconut can sort of get to show more of his solo lane skills and rotations in this game.
Speaking of gods that don't get picked a lot more in the top end of the competitive play, Cupid, in a world of Expelonques, Hachimans, and Martikaruses, What's so convincing about the Cupid that this underscore would want a top 3 pick?
Cupid is a very good god into their top 3. I can't lie. That is a very good pick. Expo can't actually get the dash off. The start of it isn't CC immune, so the cripple does still affect him. Janus obviously heavily affected by cripples as well, and Wukong the same. I think Cupid is a very underrated pick. Yeah, obviously Wingblade hurt him with the buff with the new season, having an aura effect on the slows, so that can be a big effect, but at the same time it's still a cripple and a mesmerize, so still good. Terra being picked up this late into draft, that's a pick that we haven't actually seen yet, and it blows my mind. Terra being top 3 support.
Left so late into the draft, such a powerful support to be able to bottom pick. I think it just goes to show the state of the support role at the minute. Not too heavily prioritized when we have so many strong solo lane and jungle picks. Fenrir though also picked up. Fenrir may be the counter match into this Cupid. Do you like that from Circadian Rhythm here? Is that a better
It's
look
time to turn
for
this
the jungler
battle
of
in our
the
favor.
Orderside team?
It definitely has a lot of pressure, but not in the duo lane. I don't know if Fenrir is that good into Cupid. I think it's okay, but it's you have to ult his ult. You can't use the rest of your abilities when he ults. So yeah, Fenrir is obviously very heavily countered by cripples. So it's a rough matchup. I think I'd like to see the Fenrir prioritize maybe this Guan Yu, being able to chase him down on that horse. He does have a very good matchup in Susano though, so something. We see the Bakasura. Okay.
Bakasura, last pick for underscore, potentially going to be in the hands of Mirandus if he stays in the jungle. Athena rounding off Circadian Rhythm. We talked a little bit about Athena, actually, surprisingly enough, in your game against the King Kais. King Kai's support Ginger Archer seemed to have favoured Athena quite a lot, but that was into a comp with the follow-up for it, Maritek picking up the Scylla, and it being a very, very deadly combination indeed. I don't really see Athena working as well into this comp. What are your thoughts?
It don't have the same kind of follow-up. Ginger Archer is a prolific Athena picker. You know, he loves that god. It's definitely if he's in the game, he's top 2 picking that. So I think it's a much more specific pick for Ginger Archer there.
Into this composition, how do you feel it works?
I don't love it. It's not a huge setup. It has got the beads burning to assist the Fenrir. Obviously you need something paired with the Fenrir. But the Janus, I feel like Janus is often positioned not like a traditional mage and often on the side, almost like an assassin, to get the most value. So it's I'm not a huge fan of the combination there.
A bold look from Circadian Rhythm, a different look from both teams. It will be very, very interesting to see who comes out on top of this game. Speaking about late game compositions, it seems like Circadian Rhythm drafted a little bit more into the late game, picking up the Janus and the X-Ball, who are going to be swinging at around the 20 to 30 minute mark. But underscore digging even deeper into the late game pool of gods. If we focus on the duo lane alone, Terra and Cupid, that's a terrifying duo lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see a nearly solo kill.
Nearly solo kill. Coconut hoping to finish up just a little bit of damage. Stun connects. And that's a solo kill there for the Sun Wukong. Crab falling just before a minute into this game. And that is just unfortunate. Not the start you want to see there for underscore.
Yeah, Coconut showing why he was one of the top solo laners last season. It was such a dominant force last season, and he's just there. There we go. Wave 1 showing why welcoming Crab to the game.
Showing why, even though they may be a game down, he is still one of the best in his class, and maybe to have a little bit of respect on what could potentially be quite a comfortable Sun Wukong pick. He's not going to be afraid of fighting, picking up the Tainted Steel and the Transcendence. He's going to be able to trade out a lot more damage than that Guan Yu is into the early game. Do you expect to see the standard Transcendence into the Soul Eater build that we're seeing quite a lot from the solo lane Sun Wukongs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is just kind of the only build you can go on Sun Wukong. He's a god that much prefers, much favors a bit of damage in his kit. He's not going to be doing a whole lot without a few damage items.
Oh, hold on. Big gank round onto the left side as we see Fenrir has made the trip to the duo lane. A lot of damage onto Kino. Good stun there. Manages to find 3, but Gout beads the stun out and finds the last auto needed to put the support player into the dirt. Picked up another kill. Circadian Rhythm 2-0, 2 minutes into this game.
I think there might have been a little bit of a waste of beads there from Gout as well. I think the kill might have been secured, despite the 3-man stun, which was very impressive, but I might be wrong. But yeah, there was still a good gank. Circadian Rhythm definitely showing up for game 2, 2 kills in less than 3 minutes. So sort of woken up for game 2 and are ready to play.
Ready to play indeed. Skrongo Beppis already showing a little bit of priority towards the left side of the map, trying to get out of this world, potentially ahead of MVB Sake. Do you expect a lot more ganks coming around to this side? As we were talking about the matchup into the Cupid, is it going to be something that he's going to need to be focusing on this game?
I think he'll mostly focus the ganks before Cupid hits level 5. As soon as Cupid hits level 5, it's a much rougher gank. At the same time, Sasuke doesn't have the CC immunity, so potentially, if there's a bit of scrapping in the Dura lane, and Sasuke uses that ultimate, then maybe Skronjo Beppis could be looking towards Sasuke. I think that's going to be sort of alarm bells, and that's when Sasuke has to ward specifically. Other than that, I think he's going to be quite safe with Fields of Love.
Well, level lead in the duo lane for Circadian Rhythm. Half a level lead to a level lead, perhaps, but not too much as we're seeing level 5 start to pop out across the map. We were hoping to see a couple more ganks maybe from Skrongo Beppis onto this duo lane before the Cupid could hit level 5. Only managed to get 1 so far. Be interesting to see where the Fenrir places his pressure, as we haven't seen as much action in the duo lane this early on as we did. Obviously missing out in the first 5 minutes, the 1-on-1, but nowhere near, other than the solo lane kill, nowhere near as much of attention from either jungler really around to this solo lane side. Is it just because of how safe each of the solo laners are?
Yeah, I think so. I think the solo kill there was just the kill potential from Sun Wukong. As we see a gank from Skronjo Beppis, the ultimate does come out, but
Crab 1 step ahead of Fenrir there. That's Fenrir ult down for not a lot. Not a good look for Skrongo Beppis here as Mirandus potentially looking for the kill on Skrongo Beppis, using the wall to hide himself around here. Maybe just looking for this blue buff invade. We're seeing Terra and Blake Meow on the Susano, by the way. We've barely talked about that, but we'll bring you to that just in a moment as we see the Athena ult come down. A lot of damage. Mirandus is looking very low. That's a kill towards Fenrir, but Blakey Meow and Kino managing to pick up more kits. So that's a good rotation there in response by Underscore. A lot of ultimates used.
Yeah, I think that's the Susano pick into the Yanis. Yanis obviously a very good god at rotating at the same time, so is Susano with a lot of ability, but it's that safety that Ghosty Mars has to play around. If I do rotate, I am portaling myself away from mid lane, and potentially, Susano is going to be able to catch me out there. So choosing not to rotate there, and Circadian Rhythm getting the rotation over. So yeah, definitely a good signs of life from Underscore with Blake Meow getting the kill.
Yep, signs of life indeed from underscore 3 and 2 at around about the 6-minute mark. Underscore making sure that it's known that they're not out of this one yet. Circadian Rhythm taking a little bit of a kill lead, but as you say, it's pre-10 minutes, nothing really to worry about at the minute for underscore. They have some late game gods who are going to help them transition as the game goes on. But they need to keep an eye out on this mid lane matchup, as we were talking about Susanoo and Janice. It's going to be one to watch there in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously the Susanoo pick was counter to Giannis. Scott and Joe Beepis is ganking or ulting the Mirandus.
Ulting Mirandus indeed. Not much comes of it there. Sasuke uses the ultimate to zone off the engaging Circadian Rhythm team here. It doesn't look like that's going to come too much more else. So really, it really was just Sasuke's ultimate for a couple there. The Ghosty Mars having to use his ultimate, but not really hitting much out of this world. Of course, also using his ultimate, but seems just like a little bit of a loss there for Circadian Rhythm.
Yeah, definitely. I think now Scott and Joe Beppis can look towards the duo lane now that Cupid's ult is down, and like we said earlier, that Brutalize now is going to have a lot more impact than it was 30 seconds ago. So I'd like to see the Fenrir sort of orientate towards the duo lane and make use of that.
Definitely we're seeing Mirandus in the right side of the jungle. Coconut under his tower, nothing to worry about. Of course, we're not seeing a lot of pressure around the Gold Fury as we did last time. Maybe it's because of each team not quite having the burn that they did last time. A bit more better secure for Circadian Rhythm here in the mid lane, though. Ghosty Mars having that through space and time. Hopefully going to be landing those as the game goes on. But that's 8 minutes 30 into the game. It's pretty even. Circadian Rhythm just with a little bit of a gold lead. Looking through some of the builds going on here, is it the things we come to expect here in the builds?
Yeah, I can't see anything particularly standing out to me. Interesting to see what the Terra and Athena will go second item. I'm hoping they're both spirit robes and not. What's the new item called?
Prophetic Cloak.
That's the one. I don't play support. Prophetic Cloak and second item just screams bad to me. So I'm hoping that's a spirit robe. But yeah, likely probably is. Nothing really to report there on the builds, to be honest. Ooh, is he still a low health bar on the solo side?
Coconut really is just taking it to Crab here. Sun Wukong showing that he is quite capable of boxing out Crab. He's not going to have a very fun lane here as we see him gank onto the left-hand side. Bit too early by Strongo Bapis, but as the Gold Fury is looked at into the game, we're seeing a rotation bound in response by underscore, setting up defensive positions around the pit, chasing out members of Circadian Rhythm. Not much will come for it, but underscore looking for a pick here just before a big objective.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see sort of, Ghost Mars is backing, so I'd like to see maybe Circadian Rhythm posture towards this Gold Fury. A few more backs are being channeled now, so I'd like to see a Gold Fury fight sort of break out within the next couple of minutes with just how everybody's posturing and the backs are being channeled. Now is the time people are getting their power spikes. Although I would like to see Circadian Rhythm force it with Cupid not having Kinkai's online.
As you see, the Gold Fury started out underscore being the people who are taking up the... There's not really a response at all here. Very, very slow from Circadian Rhythm. Gold Fury, it's gone just in a matter of instance. A bit too late there by Gout of this world to get round and defend that. So that'll be a free Gold Fury on the side of underscore.
It's a good heads-up display from underscore, definitely. As we see the gank coming out from... Ultimate coming out from Guan Yu.
Yep, Ultimate's traded. Not much to come for it, but Crab fighting back a little bit against Coconut, getting the stun as Coconut was looking to escape with the dash. Well played there by Crab. but there's good signs here from Underscore, being behind in the kills, but just swiping out the objective from under the nose of Circadian Rhythm. The game plan here from Underscore is very patient. The tone of the game is much different than last game. It's a lot slower, but they're very clearly a lot more organized.
Yeah, I think their draft definitely favours that. You know, they're looking to play around the late game. They've got the sustain, you know, well, a lot of sustain in their comp. They do have a little bit of a lack of magical damage, so I'd like to see Kino maybe go into like a Divine or E-Staff, something like that, Soul Reaver perhaps, but you know, get a little bit of magical damage and utilize that with a terror roll as we saw.
Oh, beautiful through space and time. Ghosty Mars taking Blakey Meow down. That was very well played there by Munchies as well, making sure when the Blakey Meow landed from the portal there from Janice, slowing, making sure that Ghosty Mars had an easier time landing the ultimate, but very well played there.
Yeah, I think Blakey Meow holding on to the beads, thinking I can survive this, I won't die, and then dying through space and time. A little bit unfortunate, obviously. Yeah, Ghosty Mars showing that maybe it's Giannis with the counter pick. Maybe he's got the better matchup.
Yep. As we see Circadian Rhythm responding kind with the Gold Fury dropping, turning their attention towards Mirandus, who just wasn't expecting that much damage from around the corner. By Mirandus indeed, as we see Kino putting down the pillars and dashing through, but not a lot of damage is there. No one is there to help him. And that's the Athena ult down, dashing in, but that's a great ultimate by Blakey Meow, taunted into through space and time again. Huge damage. Blakey Meow can't catch a break, but nothing seems to be coming of this fight as Crab gets onto the ultimate, gets a stun off, and that peters out to nothing.
Again, Blakey Meow holding on to those beads, refusing to beads the Athena taunt, getting hit by through space.
It's worse than you.
Again, I know my beads button does not work. All right, maybe Blakey Meow is the same mouse as me. Unfought, but yeah, nearly costing his life there. Luckily for Blakey Meow, didn't die. But yeah, not the end of the world there, really.
And very well disciplined by Circadian Rhythm, not securing Pyromancer, waiting for Mirandus to come around the corner, being able to pick up that extra kill before the objective. Maybe not as important as the objective, but disciplined to make sure that the Bakasura didn't steal that one away.
Yeah, I think now, sort of looking at the builds a little bit more. A few things have unfolded here.
There's the prophetic you didn't want to see.
There is the pathetic I didn't want to see. There is a Magi's Cloak on the other side from Kino, which I much prefer. An early Odysseus bow from Get Out of This World. He doesn't actually have any pen yet, so I'm I'm hoping Sasuke, once he's got this executioner online, maybe play around that, force that in team fights.
Is this Get Out of This World cooking something stinky?
Potentially, although it's not quite as bad as the prophetic cloak from from Crab at fourth item. Just noticed that, although it does have more stacks than the Athena, so maybe it's not
clearly doing a lot more work than the opposing team support. Circadian Rhythm though, Munchies is going to be tanking up this Gold Fury.
Yeah, and the ultimate comes out from Skonjo Bepis onto Kino, I believe that was. All health bars okay at the moment. And my chair one is gone? Question mark. No worries, we solo stream it, no problem. As we see, yeah, no Gold Fury is taken there, so we move I don't know if anybody died. I was too busy focusing on that. Right. We can see Executioner has been finished off by Sasuke. So I'd like to see maybe the ADCs potentially, Sasuke potentially rotate out. He's going to have that advantage in the team fights with the lack of pen from Gout as well. Not going to be able to shut those tanks. Crab and Kino are just going to be able to run at them. Although the Soul Eater Fenrir is spicy. Not sure what else to describe that, as we see a taunt in and lots of damage coming out from Yanis. Already half hitting Blake Miel there. And there's my chair.
And I'm back. If this stream couldn't get any worse, a little bit of an internet disconnect make things a little bit spicier, as we are seeing Circadian Rhythm here dancing around the Pyromancer Crab up onto the Talos Assault. Fenrir picking up the Guan Yu as he dismounts the horse, and we're seeing another fight engage into the backline. We're seeing Terra using the stun onto Coconut there, but that is the Athena ult going down. Fenrir jumping out, but that is a great Susanoo ult, knocking up a lot of low health bars, but no one there to finish off the damage. Lockie, you're going to have to key me in on the occurrences that have happened in the past couple of minutes. Circadian Rhythm seem to be all over the place.
Yeah. Solely to Fenrir, that's kind of what I'm focusing on, but we've already touched on that whilst you were gone. Yeah, Circadian Rhythm, nobody picked up the Gold Fury, but they were able to secure that Pyromancer, which obviously is good for them. As we can see now, everybody is posturing around the Gold Fury, but with Underscore having the advantage here, where Coconut has not yet rotated.
Lack of ultimates on the side of Circadian Rhythm, not perhaps able to respond to this Underscore Gold Fury pull. Just this moment, damage getting thrown out, but no one in range at all to sneak away this Gold Fury. That will be an easy Gold Fury secured there for Underscore. Not a lot of damage, not a lot of a response from Circadian Rhythm at all. Perhaps waiting out for the Fire Giant that's coming through, as we're seeing through space and time. Up now as we Mirandus has got into the mid lane here. He's ultimated down, but he's taking so much damage. Fenrir ult used in response through space and time, trying to snipe the retreating Bakasura, but ultimate's used, but no one's dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of fights here, a little bit scrappy, where not quite able to finish off the kills. Oh, as we said, Blakey Meow. Damage.
Blakey Meow putting Ghostly Mars into the ground, as we're seeing a little bit of a dive from Circadian Rhythm, taking a little bit of damage from the tower. Blakey Meow teleporting towards the cloud that he had placed onto Ghostly Mars there. A lot of damage. Very well played. This Susanoo is now starting to come out and hit hard. Munchie's not quite able to defend the tower here. Blakey Meow suddenly turning up at late stages of this game.
Yeah, Susanoo's getting to the late game now, and does a lot of damage. He hurts. He's got the Trans, got Bloodforge, and Hydras. He's got a lot of power for those auto attack cancels, and he's gonna hurt. He's now caught up. There was a 2-level lead differential before that fight broke out, and now they're both 17.
Both 17. A 300 gold lead to Underscore. Back and forth here in this second game. Underscore wanting to close this one off, making it 2-0, taking them to the top of the leaderboards as we come into game week 2 of Middle Division Galeria Smite League. Circadian Rhythm, though, showing a lot more fight than they did. Less kills happening, but Circadian Rhythm, a lot more of a methodical approach here as the late game starts to come around. Underscore hoping maybe that it's their game to win, essentially, that their composition favors the late game, but Circadian Rhythm not to be dissuaded, looking to try and pick up a kill perhaps on the left side of this map. We're seeing Crab and Mirandus making an aggressive pathing towards Gout of this World, who doesn't seem to see either of them, but I guess the ADC just gets the back for free there. Yeah. This is what are Underscore doing with this pathing? Surely this is a Gold Fury call around here. Get some wards around the Gold Fury here that everyone's on the left side of the map.
I'd say this is a huge Gold Fury call if the Gold Fury is up and Fire Giant's up and they're not there. So I don't know why Crab is rotating quite over all the way to the Joy lane. I think I'd prefer to have seen Sasuke made that early rotation. You know, he's got XC, he's got Odysseus Bow. Get out of the squad, yeah, was at a level up until just now. But I think I would have preferred that. Favouring a late game team comp as Circadian Rhythm pick up the Pyromancer here.
Picking up the Pyromancer, the front line of Underscore, trying to dissuade Circadian Rhythm. That's a lot of damage coming out onto Munchies, but through space and time, coming out hits no one. That's Coconut looking to engage on Clino, who manages to get underneath his tower, and Circadian Rhythm will take that little bit of damage trade-off, and they will turn their attention back to the Pyromancer. Underscore manages to get into, but Circadian Rhythm have secured the Pyromancer, but Underscore and the fight on the backline have just taken so much damage. Blakey manages to take out Ghosty Mars in the backline. That's a Xbalanque out coming to try and give his team a little bit of a space. That's a triple kill. I believe that was for Gout of this world. Scrungo Bepis managing to pick up another kill, and a Fire Giant on the menu here for Circadian Rhythm.
Yeah, in that whole fight, Sasuke was hitting a tier 2. Unfortunately, he was split pushing. Potentially would have been able to make quite a big difference in the team fight, but unfortunately didn't rotate. I guess the team didn't call for it. Stayed on the Duro side. Really, really good fight, especially from Gout of this world, getting the triple kill.
Yeah.
This Expo is now very fed, and you see how much gold he spent on his back. You know, you've got upgraded the starter. He's nearly got Executioner as well. You know, he's going to be hitting very, very hard. You know, tanks can't step up to him now. You know, one Athena taunt, and he is now the follow-up.
The build looking a little bit better from the Out of This World at this late stage of the game. You were worried about the lack of penetration. How's it looking for you now?
I think it's looking a lot better. I want to see this Executioner get online. I would have preferred Titan Spain. Having that penetration for your Kins and Odysseus procs is important. However, the Cupid damage being shy of 2k at this stage, I would argue it doesn't matter what Gout of this world builds. It's probably better than what Sasuke's done. 2k is a little bit low from your ADC.
A little bit low. It's hard to sort of to really quantify just the value that 2k has been to his team, though. It must have been a very, very important 2000 for him to pack up his bags and think, nope, that's enough. No damage from me for the rest of the game. Circadian Rhythm chewing through the rest of Underscore's towers. Tier 2 in left, Tier 1 in mid. As they look, Coconut seems to have spotted Crab out into the jungle. Will he be able to catch him before the back? He does. And now it's all a matter of if Crab will be able to escape the oncoming Circadian Rhythm assault. It's a lot of damage. It looks like the Towers assault will end very, very soon, and that's a lot of damage. Gout of this world picking up another kill. 5-0-2 for the Shibalonke as Circadian Rhythm march up mid lane.
Yeah, he just stepping up a little bit too far there. Even Guan Yu, you know, a very safe god. As you can see, yeah, Fenrir Brutalize just does follow it. And Gout of this world has got so much damage at this point. As we see a Siege coming out in the mid Phoenix.
Siege coming out. That's Susanoo ult off very early into the fight. Coconut has gone out to zone people in the backline, but Ghosty Mars and Munchies putting on a show for us here. That's 2 kills onto the side of Circadian Rhythm. Janice pouring the damage out onto Kino, and the team will follow their mid laner into the fray. Miranda's managing to pick Coconut up, but the CC is too much. Ghosty Mars managing to pick up another. Kino has all the work to do in the world. Defending from 4 members of Circadian Rhythm proves to be too much here, and it's another game 3 scenario we will be finding ourselves in.
Yeah, another one empty. I think that's all but one set.
All but one.
Far.
All but one.
Going to game 3. So showing this season is even more competitive than last. Last season, probably most competitive of them all yet. And
Great
maybe this
viewing.
one's beating it.
It certainly has been an entertaining set so far. Production issues aside, it's been a show from each team. Underscore having a convincing win in game 1, but Circadian Rhythm in that game 2. Just towards the end game team fights just proved too much. They're out of this world, really turning on the burners there at the end. 20,000 damage for the ADC. His opposition, however, 3,000. We'd like to maybe see him put a little bit more numbers on the board in the next game. Maybe Cupid, not the god we will be wanting to see. But signs of life from both teams there. Game 3 is anyone's to call.
I mean, I don't think the 3k damage can necessarily be blamed on the Cupid, but we'll move from that. You know, everybody has a bit of a rough game potentially. I think Underscore drafted this heavy dive centric comp. You know, with the Guan Yu, Baka, and Susanoo. They're going to be diving. They want to be the ones to engage. Sasuke, wants to engage with the Ultima, and same with Terra. You want to get in there. But they never really did. Sasuke didn't really leave the duo side of the map, and I think that kind of costed the team quite heavily in that, they never had that team fight where they all engaged, all dove as 5.
Yep, a much better team fight there. Probably the difference maker for Circadian Rhythm, who will take game number 2, leading us into a game 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after a break.
Tell me you're hurt again. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how it's all my fault. Yeah, I've met my match again. Starting from scratch again. Where is the pleasure in all this pain? Don't you lie to me. Say it's all okay. When it feels like I'm drowning. I hate to say goodbye.
Another game week, another third game of Smite. These sets can't just finish 2-0. Underscore and Circadian Rhythm battling it out a lot here. I'd like to move on and talk about picks and bans, but Lockie has been working very hard whilst we've been on the break and has some crack analysis that he wants to bring to you all. Lockie, chair's yours.
Giannis, he's got a 75% win rate.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy, I know.
Shocking. And how long did that take you to figure out?
Far too long.
Too long. Too long is the answer.
Really, we should have got one of the 7 maths teachers there in GSL in here, but no problem. As we see a Guan Yu ban and not the Giannis.
Guan Yu ban. Huge. Yep. A math teacher would have helped, but that would have meant having to talk to East. And none of us want to do that if we can help it. Bans finished here by both teams. Hachiman unbanned, making it through to picks and picked up here by Underscore. One of the top ADCs we are getting to see now in game number 3.
Yeah, I think Hatchman obviously best ADC really at the moment. Although Hatchman's not that good if you're not doing damage. So hopefully Sasuke can do a little bit more this game. As we see the Blancu and Thor being picked up on the other side.
Grungo Bepp is picking up Thor again. We're going to see if he's going to have a better game. Clearly the confidence is back with Grungo. He's feeling that Thor was an important part in game 1 that he would like to reintroduce into game 3. That the ultimate's hopefully going to be a little bit better. Susanoo in return for Underscore and Tia locked in here. Would there any other solo laners you would have liked to have seen picked up in this position, or is Tia one of the remaining ones that is sort of like a gimme?
I think Tia is good. Maybe you could have looked at the Song Wukong to take it away from Coconut. At the same time, Giannis is open, and with his 75% win rate, I would be picking him up every time.
Genuinely, to everyone listening, he was so happy when he figured that out, but it's so embarrassing how long it took him to figure that out as a 7/12 as a percentage, and I won't repeat it online.
I forgot to add the 2 wins that just happened. There you go.
Bans starting to get rounded off here. Roman and Athena for Circadian Rhythm. Athena banned away by Circadian Rhythm. Did it have that much effect into the game?
Potentially, I think. Obviously, Miranda, I believe, or Crab, can't remember which. Sorry, one of them played Athena solo in their last set, and I did
think it was Miranda's.
Yeah, I think that does ring a bell. So. They're potentially looking to ban away those solo picks, but it's a little bit strange with the tier being picked up. And again, going back to this Giannis, no bans towards it, got a 75% win rate.
Does have a 75% win rate, just to hammer that one home one last time. Underscore having the Giannis taken away from them. Blakey Meow clearly not prioritising it too much heavily. Circadian Rhythm shaping their draft around a bit more of a dive. Some Wukong and Giannis paired with, the Spelunky is going to be a very, very tricky comp to fight around. Underscore Kino looking to go with the Emoja here. Round off the draft. A little mid laner
I'm
perhaps.
a little bit surprised Emoji got through this far, but mid lane is a tricky one. It could be Susanoo mid again. They might have been holding that mid pick, waiting for the Giannis to come through. Blakey Meow, he did do well in game 1, but the team never
Face
really
the
built
wrath of
back
a
on.
sorceress
But we do see
scorned.
Morgan Le Bay, who debatably is potentially the best mid laner in the game and potentially the best god in the game.
Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay picked up by Underscore here. Very, very powerful mid laner indeed. We've seen a lot of mid laners banned away. Barkus rounded off by Circadian Rhythm. We are getting to see the support picked up again into this team composition. Barkus, interesting pick up. The knock-up's going to be a good source of engage to allow Thor and Yanis to get off their big sets of damage. Would you have liked to have seen the Bacchus here, or is this kind of feeding into the dive composition that Circadian Rhythm are very clearly looking at?
Yeah, I think Circadian Rhythm have definitely orientated more towards the comp that Underscore ran in Game 2, with a very dive-centric comp. Yanis is going to be looking around to the side. I'm slightly concerned if this X-Bowl gets caught out potentially by the Susano, the Tyr. But if Get Out of This World has the damage they did in Game 2, then I think he's going to be just fine. Peeling for himself. I think two very well-rounded drafts. A lot of CC on the side of Underscore.
A lot of CC, Circadian Rhythm and Underscore as we come into this game number 3. Each team vying out for that top position. Underscore hoping to dethrone Circadian Rhythm and put themselves at the top ahead towards the end of week 2. Talk about the amount of CC on the side of Underscore. Circadian Rhythm, a lot of dive, but not a lot of peel coming out, especially from their support. It's kind of the trade-off that you get coming from this Bacchus, that the Munchies is going to have to work very hard there to make up for his lack of peel. He's going to be using a lot of his abilities as initiation. Is it maybe a weakness in this draft that they don't have much peel for the likes of Ghosty Mars on Yanis?
Yeah, definitely. I think Underscore definitely have to be the ones to engage onto Underscore. Oh no, sorry. Underscore has to be the ones to engage onto Circadian Rhythm. Do apologise. Dive comps do struggle when they're the ones being engaged onto. So they're much better at being the initiation and starting the fights. Definitely looking at that. But as we do see, one thing I do notice is Crab picked up the speed buff and is out of mana.
Out of mana is the Sun Wukong. Maybe a little bit of an accident, clearing off the camps, but maybe intentional. Crab might be cooking up something stinky here. The attack speed Sun Wukong might be something that we'll be seeing in the Pro League later on as we're approaching Masters, but taking our attention away from the solo lane, the duo lane, a little bit of action at the beginning. Low health bars there from Kino, not too worried as the Emojo is going to provide a lot of sustain at this point in the game. Which of these two duo lanes would you be favouring at this current time? As Coconut taunted, attacked underneath the tower there, taking a big hefty chunk. Strongo Bepis turning his attention towards the duo lane. Which, going back to my question, which of these duo lanes are you favouring this? The Emoja and the Hachiman, surely?
Yeah, I think Emoja and Hatchman, they're top in their role. That brings so much pressure. Obviously, Bacchus does have the pressure. As we see a gank onto the solo lane, Miranda's getting first blood.
It's Susano in the jungle this time, but Miranda showing he can pilot it just as well as Blakey Meow. That's a lot of damage there onto the solo laner. Coconut maybe regretting that he went for that speed buff early on. Apologies, maybe regretting not backing off into the tower. Unfortunate there from the solo laner of Circadian Rhythm. Good lead here for Underscore. Well done by Miranda's to get his team ahead. Signs for things to come, hopefully.
You could maybe argue if Crab didn't get that speed buff, would there have been a first blood? Who knows? But definitely Miranda's playing proactive this game, getting first blood under 3 minutes on a Susano, which is a traditional late pick god. So definitely a really, really good sign for him to get ahead in the early game.
Well played by Mirandus indeed, showing that he can do it in multiple roles. In the solo lane, in the last game that we saw him in, this set of games he's chosen to go into the jungle. Is that strategic? I think I glanced over this just briefly earlier in the set, but is it a position that you favour Mirandus being in the jungle, or is this a position, is this a swap rather, specifically for this Circadian Rhythm game?
I think they, in the first set, quite common with a lot of teams is to sort of work out what their best roles are, what the best synergy is. You know, I would favour Mirandus in the jungle now and Crab solo after seeing how they both performed. So I think this is probably more of a permanent role swap rather than just for the set. Mirandus, you know, he has his spicy picks in the solo lane, but I would argue he potentially lacks the meta picks in the solo lane. We saw a lot of Jonqui and obviously the Athena as well. So, yeah, I think his spicy picks sometimes can limit him in the solo lane.
Very comfortable in the jungle role is Mirandus. We saw a little bit of Mirandus in the jungle last season, flickering in between roles, but clearly comfortable on the Susano. Transcendent Susano, something we usually see. Is that the route that you would like to have seen the Transcendence in the jungle go down? Is that just the obvious pick at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Transcendence is pretty much always better than Jotuns in most cases. You can argue going Jotuns if you're on an early game jungler and you want to leverage the early game. But Susano being a late game pick, being already ahead, Transcendence, it's always going to be the best pick for you. As we see a potential invade onto the blue buff.
Invade onto the blue buff, not looking like it was successful. Coconut picking up the blue buff, a lot of damage. Mirandus maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew here. Ghosty Mars picking up the kill onto the jungler, making all things 1-for-1, and it's a double kill. Ghosty Mars, it will be Scrungo Bepis landing down, but it is the mid laner that's credited with the kill there. A little bit of more, bit off more than they could chew. Mirandus trying a little bit hard to invade that blue buff, but a very, very good rotation there from Circadian Rhythm to catch out Underscore.
Yeah, I think obviously Mirandus getting a little bit overconfident after getting the first blood. He did have Transcendence finished, although not stacked, before Scrungo Bepis had the full Jotuns. So potentially trying to leverage that, but at the end of the day, it is a Susano early game into a Thor, and you're not going to usually win that trade. But it's a good rotation from Ghosty Mars, showing why Giannis has a 75% win rate in the GSL League.
Picking up that Giannis purely because you mentioned the win rate, just trying to boost those numbers up a little bit. Ghosty Mars showing how it's done on the Giannis, very well played by the Circadian Rhythm mid laner. So we're seeing a little bit of attention on the left side of the map. Scrungo Bepis making his presence known as Mirandus clears out some of the jungle buffs. Scrungo Bepis will throw some abilities out. Not a lot of damage thrown out either. Solo lane, similarly feisty. Not going to see too much of a scrap here, I don't think, from either team. Yet again, we're seeing a good balance of gods between each of the teams here, but it looks like Underscore have a much later game team fight, so they're going to be happy to see this one into the end. They're not too worried right now about the scoreline.
Yeah, I think both teams have quite an even comp throughout most of the game. You know, certain roles favour slightly at different times in the game, but generally across the board, I'd actually argue that both teams have a relatively decent comp scaling into the late game and through the mid game. So it's going to be a tough one to call, and if it's anything like the last two games, I feel like after a couple of objectives have gone down, the early ones, it's suddenly going to be blown out of the water, blown up the water with the first Fire Giant fight. As we're seeing
a couple of fights, duo lane and mid lane. We'll take you over to the duo lane first, as Mirandus manages to get a kill onto Gout of this world. That's a good kill over onto the side of Susano, picking up another, making it 2-1-0 in the mid lane. A little bit of a scrap here. Blakey Meow forced into the ultimate, but not much coming out of that. Scrungo Bepis, meanwhile, on the right side of the map, perhaps trying to give his solo laner a little bit more pressure up against this tier. Ultimate still up for the Thor. Nothing really up on the side of his team apart from some Wukong ultimate, so maybe not willing to use that important ultimate just yet, saving it for one of the objectives that we are seeing coming up on the map round about now. Do you expect to see an objective pulled by one of these teams around about the 10-minute mark like we've seen in the past couple of games?
Potentially. It really sort of depends on where the junglers are at that time. Whether they've managed to secure a pick before the Gold Fury fight. Taking a Gold Fury fight at 10 minutes, it can be very, very risky. And because that you really do want to make sure that you have got the sort of the man advantage, and you're not going into it even, because the Gold Fury is going to do so much damage to you at this stage of the game that you don't want to be taking that damage whilst there's people around you, and potentially to lose it to a steal. So it really depends on where these junglers are, and sort of the map state, as we see Mirandus on the right side of the map and Scrungerow Bethis on the left side.
Yep, junglers spreading themselves out here, a little bit of a scrap on the left side of the map. Scrungo Bepis making his way over. Perhaps buff invade, nope, not quite out in time. Not a lot of attention towards his Gold Fury yet, neither team wanting to commit, perhaps waiting for a kill to be secured before they commit to this big objective. As you said, these fights around objectives are going to be very, very difficult at the minute for these low item guardians. Not a lot of protections at the minute, so they're going to have to watch out. But Munchies doesn't really care about protections. He's diving back into the tier 2, taking a fair amount of damage, and it looks like Kalino in the back is going to put up the River's Rebuke, and that's a lot of damage onto Gout. This world is just shut down there. Kalino will pick up that kill. Thor Dunk on top, but it's too much health on the side of the Yamoja there. Too much health. Scrungo Vep is having to back off, and Underscore gifted possession of the Gold Fury pit.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying just a minute ago, that you look for the pick, immediately pull the Gold Fury. It was a good gank from Munchies to force out the beads from Sasuke, but it was an even better counter gank from Mirandus and Kino to lock down the lane and punish them for diving the T1 tower. Obviously, Ghosty Mars using the Yanis ult to try and rotate. Good call, but unfortunately, that is your secure for the Gold Fury. So every time Underscore are going to be pulling that, and unfortunately, given up for free.
Given up for free. Well played by Underscore there. A little bit of a gold lead, not too much to shout about. Early on in this game, Pyromancer still up. Circadian Rhythm, Gout out of this world in particular, not having the stellar start to the game he had last game. But it's early doors for the ADC, 0-2, but he is managing to get some items online. So if he can survive into the later stages of the game, this Xbalanque is going to be potentially the difference maker for Circadian Rhythm, correct?
Yeah, definitely. If he had any kind of performance like he did in Game 2, then he's definitely going to make a huge impact in Game 3. Both ADCs finishing off the Kinkais. They're going to be swinging, looking for that pen next item. As long as Gaudiswell can sort of stay relatively level with Sasuke despite being 0-2, I think he's going to be making a big impact when it comes to late game.
We're just talking about items for a sec, just to point out yet again, Crab favouring that very early prophetic cloak. We're not seeing it picked up by his support this time. Is that some sort of strategy that you see quite a lot in your games, or is this something that perhaps that Crab is just going to get a little bit more utility out than Kino is?
I guess getting it second item in solo, you can stack some of the stacks very quickly. Your lane partner, the physical stacks in this case, he can stack very quickly, but the magical stacks he's going to lack, as we see a blink and a miss.
Unfortunate from Crab there.
Is able to get the perfect stack off of a clone, then that's learn something new every day.
Every day's a school day as underscore take control of the Pyromancer. Shibalanke ultimate used just to dissuade the team from focusing up. That's a lot of damage. Crab has that ultimate out there from the CC chain from Circadian Rhythm. Big plays there from Crab, managing to get out of what seemed to be sure death. Pyromancer dropped by both teams. No one contesting, but with tier ultimate down, traded out for Shibalanke ult. You'd like to see one of these teams try and sneak this objective away, as it looks like Circadian Rhythm are doing now.
Yeah, definitely. With the ultimate advantage here for underscore, I'd like to see them be the ones to force it out rather than Circadian Rhythm. Obviously, can't be giving it up for free, but as we've seen, engaged from Miranda on Joe Beppis.
Yep, Thor hammered down. Unfortunate, not able to get away. Scrungo Beppis. That's another kill. 3-1-1 Mauers Mirandus. Very well played there, taking out his opposite jungler. As Blakey Meow was taking a lot of damage there through space and time, connects and just falls to the damage of Ghosty Mars there. Blakey Meow not having a very good game in comparison to Ghosty Mars, who on this Janus 3-0-0 brilliantly played there by Circadian Rhythm.
Some would say Ghosty Mars potentially did his homework, and he had a look at the win rate of this Janus pick. Oh, wow, 75%.
Lucky, I'm fully dropping like the caster persona. I can't be asked. Please stop bringing up the win rate. Expo forced to dash away there. MVB Sasuke putting a little bit of damage onto the ADC. Underscore here in a little bit of a lead, not so commanding, I would say, but both objectives up, looking like a focus towards this mid lane, focusing up on the Ghosty Mars, who is 3-0-0, as we said, having a very good game on this Janus. We've yet to see much use of the global rotations in the Janus, more so the ability to portal through and focus up on the farm. Would you like to see maybe a bait over to the Pyromancer or a bait over to the Gold Fury and switching to the other side? Is that a strategy that could work, especially with this Thor on Circadian Rhythm?
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, I would like to see the global presence a bit more from Ghosty Mars. So I would argue Scrungo Beppis obviously has that semi-global ultimate. Currently at the bottom of the damage charts, channeling his inner Sasuke, and a little bit lacking on the damage. I would like to see this Thor early game have more of an impact, but obviously transitioning now into the late game, that Thor's going to be falling off, and Susno is getting online.
Getting online, Coconut keeping Crab busy. As Circadian Rhythm look to step around this Gold Fury side, but turn around into the mid lane. I believe that was Janus portal down yet. I thought that was through space and time for a second, but no real rotation to either objective. It's just a battle over the pits to gain some ward vision. Mirandus may be looking to get out of this world early again. He will blink in. That's beads used to immune a knock up, but it looks like it's just too much. Get out of this world. Not a lot of help from his team. Mirandus will pick up that kill. Munchies is here in return. Will use the ultimate. Thor slamming down River's Rebuke used to try, but that's a beautiful through space and time from Ghosty Mars yet again, really having the game of his life on this Janus. Kino knocking Scrungo Beppis down in the back, and Munchies looks like he will just jump out of the fight. Nothing much will happen unless Crab has anything to say, looking to come into the backline. Blinks, finally hits that one. Munchies has been CC'd. Will the people be able to get the damage off just in time? That's knocked up Munchies, but it looks like he will get out there. Crab, unfortunately, looks like he will trade out his life for this Coconut, unless ultimate used by Crab peeled well away from Blakey Meow here. Coconut is still chasing Crab, running back towards the Gold Fury, but not a lot of damage that's following Coconut, so Crab will escape with his life.
Yeah, a long extended fight. That started off with just a gank onto the dual lane. I have to admit, Get of This World had a good beads. I don't know if that was a panic beads. Hearing the Susanoo blink, and immediately beadsing. I mean, I'm never doing that in my life. I wish, but yeah, unfortunately, did fall down. Now 0-3 on this X Belong queue, but I still think he's going to have the same impact that Sasuke's going to have late game. X is such a strong god. As we see another fight breaking out over this Gold Fury.
Thor goes up into the ultimate, tries to slam down, doesn't quite catch Miranda's. He's got to be careful. There's a bit of a level lead Miranda's has over Skrongo Beppis. Meanwhile, Coconut manages to take down Blakey Meow, the mid laner. Taken down there by Sun Wukong. Miranda's tries to take out Ghosty Mars, manages to take down the 4-0 mid laner there, trades his life out in return. It's 2 for 1 right now on the side of Circadian Rhythm as they will back out around the fight, heal up, and perhaps come towards this Gold Fury.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised Underscore stepping up for this so high.
Unfortunate there. River's Rebuke not quite managing to catch out. Munchies will eventually fall there by Crab. It looks like the tier has just walked into a little bit too much damage. B's used to immune the taunt there. Gao of This World is credited with the kill. Couple of low health bars in front of the Gold Fury. No real presence from either team. Still, even with a little bit of a kill lead, neither team really that happy to start any of these objectives up.
Yeah, I think Underscore stepping up a little bit too far there. They did have the 3-man versus 4-man at disadvantage. So, yeah, a little bit surprised to see them step up so far and try and zone people off the Gold Fury. But yeah, Circadian Rhythm then able to capitalize on that, having the man advantage, and then taking 2 kills of their own. A good general play from Circadian Rhythm there just to sort of catch up, and now Get Off This World is now on the board, and 1 and 3 got a kill. Finished off some penetration, although Dominance potentially falling off a little bit, but it's still going to be good and have a huge impact on these fights. Now he's got some pen.
Thor, Wall and Hammer just flew past my window. Unfortunate there by Skrongo Beppis, a little bit off the mark. I'm acutely aware that we've been just talking about what's been happening in the games. 8 and 7 at the minute, 21 minutes. Still a very, very slight lead for Underscore. What is it that each team needs to do to win this game? It's been very back and forth.
It is. And to be honest, I have no idea.
Just what I want to hear from my chat.
It's so closely matched that both teams could just win it off of one good ability, one good ultimate. Ghost of Mars might hit the through space and time of his life and hit all 3-4 people, whatever. It only takes one good Janus ult to win a whole game. At the same time, Skrongo Beppis has that ability with the Thor ults a little bit off the mark so far, but he could, he might turn around and hit a 5-man in a couple minutes time. At the same time, Kino Onyemo, just such a powerful god, can look trapping in all of these gods. And potentially turning around a fight. So it all sort of, these comps are so evenly matched that I really do think that it comes down to the players and what big abilities, what big ultimates they are able to hit.
Big ultimates being important on the menu. We're seeing Fire Giant start up by the side of Underscore. A lot of damage onto Coconut. Sun Wukong is having to defend Fire Giant seemingly on his own. However, while his team sneak away the Primal Fury on the other side of the map, Underscore surely. Miranda's. By Miranda's. Taken away there, Ghosty Mars, showing that he can do it all on this game. It's a kill over on the Susanoo, but Circadian Rhythm have lost the Fire Giant here. Underscore perhaps happy with the trade. However, Thor is up into the ultimate, smashes down MVB Sasuke, takes down Ghosty Mars. We see Thor go straight onto the back of two. Scrungo Bephis just manages to get out there. They're alive. MVB Sasuke doing so much damage at this point. Level 20 Hachiman swinging for the fences. And it's a lot of low health bars on the side of Circadian Rhythm. They are running through the jungle away from Underscore. Blink in Frontier. A huge amount of damage from Blakey. Manages to put Munchies into the dirt. Goat of this world has managed to dash away, but it doesn't look like it's enough to evade the oncoming damage. Blakey Meow not even worrying about the tower, choosing to instead take the fight to Gout of this world. Will lose his life, but it is a kill again to Blakey Meow. Coconut the only man left standing as Underscore look towards these towers.
A long, extended, and scrappy fight. Blakey Meow maybe didn't need to die there. However, he does kill off Gout of this world, which was a huge part of their win in Game 2, as Ghosty Mars just unable to steal away the Pyromancer. We have to point out, fantastic through space and time onto the Susano, onto Mirandus. Goodbye Mirandus in that fight.
Mirandus.
The first member to lose their Fire Giant. However, I would like to point out the damage that Mirandus was able to put out onto Coconut before that Fire Giant was taken. It was a lot from a jungler onto a solo laner.
Yep, a lot of damage indeed. The build that Susano is building is not level 20, just turned level 20. 15,000 damage, not quite got that powerful start right, I'm upgraded yet, but it's maybe signs that Coconut are going to have to be very careful around the Susano. And maybe the Circadian Rhythm are going to have to treat the rest of this game a little bit differently. They took that fight at a bit of a disadvantage. They gambled on the Gold Fury, and unfortunately just didn't go their way quite now as Crab goes towards left side of this map here. Galdersword having to use the ultimate to give himself a little bit of cover away from this engaging fight. It looks like Kino is looking for a good Riptide to start up an engagement. They're quite happy just to poke this tower down slowly. But Bacchus has gone in, and that's locked in there by the River's Rebuke. And Tears, good worked, but Mirandus on the backline. Scrungo Beppis is dead. Ghosty Mars trying to output the damage, but not quite enough. Gout of this world will manage to take that kill, but oncoming onslaught here from Underscore. Coconut having to go up into the ult. Gout of this world is getting peeled away here by his solo laner. Well played there by Coconut, but that looks like to be a Phoenix to me.
Yeah, Mirandus going absolutely huge for his team there, just killing two people off on his own as they look for the end.
Looking for either the end or a pick here as Coconut is taunted back, has to use the beads there to immune too much of the damage. They really are looking for this end, but there are so many low health bars, and now Circadian Rhythm able to push out the engaging team here, and that's a kill onto MVP Sasuke. This is huge, could turn the entire direction of the fight here. Dashed in is Gout of this world, but it looks like Umoja has just the Omi left to be able to Riptide her team away. However, Coconut not to be dissuaded by the escape. He is still following here. Blakey Meow and Kino being chased all the way back to their purple buff. Has Coconut chased a little bit too far? He has been sundered. He's been taunted a lot. Through space and time, not quite hitting. Unfortunately, that one wasn't quite on the home for Ghosty Mars there. The answer if Coconut had extended a bit too far, well, was yes.
Yeah, he's only got one physical protection item plus tainted breastplate. Sun Wukong is not tanky right now, and chasing that far, maybe a little bit optimistic. But I get why he did it. You know, he saw the low health bar. It's easy to have the tunnel vision, but unfortunate. Wasn't able to clear up any of those last three kills. And Mirandus 8-4 now. It's a rather large Susano.
Been wiped out a couple of times by some big through spaces and time in particular, but he's having a very, very good game on this Susano, it has to be said, as Underscore look to start up this Fire Giant. Circadian Rhythm not quite able to put the defense up two members on the left side of the map. It doesn't look like he'll even try to take away this fire giant. Not enhanced yet. 28 minutes and only the second fire giant to have fallen. So not maybe too much of a worry for Circadian Rhythm. It looks like they're confident that they can defend this one at their Phoenix. What are their base defense looking like with this composition?
It's good. I would argue it's not too bad. You know, they've got Giannis with the through saves in time. You know, hitting it good. Giannis ult can win you the game, like I said earlier. So, you know, coming through from one of the other Phoenixes and just going through the walls can be a huge benefit. X-Bowl got a good defense with the ultimate. You know, not being able to see where the enemies are is a huge benefit, a huge ultimate. And also Scrounjo Beppis, if he is able to connect one of these ultimates, he could do a lot of damage.
It's late game.
He could maybe even double his damage, some would say.
Let's hopefully he can double his damage. 3,500. Not the best numbers you want to see for your jungler, but it is easy to say that it is late into the game. Thor coming up to his full build now. Just pressing his 4 land again and using his kit is easily going to be doubling those numbers that we're seeing. So Scrounjo Beppis not completely out of the world yet, as we see another beautiful River's Rebuke there by Kino. The Ghost of Phantom Shell has to be used by Munchies to get his team out of combat. So that is River's Rebuke down, but an easy way into the Phoenix now, as they are looking to open up the base. The left side Phoenix is about to respawn. Miranda's in the mid lane, ready to send it over. Gout of this World has taken so much poke here. It's a very slow engagement. Thorwall not quite hitting, but it just seems to be, like, to me, that the Underscore are just taking their time with this, and one by one they've just walked their way in, chipped down health bars. Munchies managed to take Crab out, however, but that's 2 Phoenixes, as no one was over on the left side of the map to deal with that Phoenix, so that's an easy 2 Phoenixes just for Crab's life.
Yeah, I think it was a series of strange decisions from Circadian Rhythm to give up that Phoenix. You know, you can see their 4 members still have their ultimate ability, and they gave up that Phoenix. You know, I was watching the Thor's damage the whole fight. I can't lie. Ooh. Okay, that's a little bad for.
That's a little unfortunate. No words really there. Unfortunate for Get Out of This World, just as their team needed perhaps a good 5-man fight to turn this one around. Unfortunately, Firegiant has fallen off of Underscore now, though, so Circadian Rhythm may be looking through space and time. Beautiful damage onto Sasuke, but his team is there. He's up onto the horse to escape. Coconut is diving very far, but his team isn't there. Thor up into the Anvil of Dawn. Sasuke looks to have made it out alive. That's the stun. Manages to just get the damage out. Susanoo is here to return some of the damage. We were talking about the damage that he could put onto the Susanoo, and it is a lot. Blakey Meow in the backline, finishing off. Scrounjo Beppis, Beats, and Aegis used. Forced out here. Manages to get out as Miranda's distract Coconut, taking out the Sun Wukong once more. Miranda's wants more from his team. And all the while, look at the Titan!
Winions, holy.
Holy shit indeed, as they have pressed go. I've seen how low the minions are, but do they have the damage? Is this a great play, or have they thrown the game? Miranda's and the support have died. It's all the way up to Crab, who just doesn't seem to have the damage, and it's all 3 of the attacking members of Underscore have fallen. Circadian Rhythm have held the base, and it is only Blakey Meow who remains to stop this onslaught here. Circadian Rhythm still in this game.
There's actually no shot, man. Okay, Underscore thinking Titan solo. Let's get some extra damage. Let's stat pad. That's definitely points in my eyes. They didn't end. I feel like that's like 1 ability onto the Titan, and they end the game. Unfortunate for Underscore. Definitely unfortunate. do you look for the back door at this point? Probably not. You're going to be potentially fighting into a 5-man fire giant with Circadian Rhythm picking up the fire giant now.
They are in a good position here to take this enhanced fire giant off the table, perhaps giving them a little bit better of a base defense. But Underscore looking to end this game out. Blakey Meow has taken a lot of damage, but Underscore have secured that. Mirandus going into the backline. He will pick up a double kill. Blakey Meow being peeled by his support. The mid laner is still alive, finally taken away by Coconut, but it seems just to be a distraction here. Coconut having to turn tail and back as Mirandus and NVB Sasuke look to close this one out after a very tumultuous game here. Hopefully this is the last that we see of it. Hopefully Underscore have shown that they can't throw this. Coconut is, however, doing so much damage, but it's not enough. Mirandus putting on a show. The 12-5 jungler has closed out this game. I'm exhausted. Whew.
Yeah,
What a set.
Circadian Rhythm getting the freest comeback of their life there, and unfortunately losing it around a fire giant. Scrunjo Bearpiss unfortunately didn't have the impact on the Thor pick that we wanted to see. Obviously struggled on it game 1 and then again on game 3. Potentially a pick to put back in the locker, and maybe look for his more comfortable picks like in game 2. But the damage numbers unfortunately a little bit low as we go into the post-game stats. I would say though, Ghosty Mars looking comfortable on the Yanis. Yeah, that 75% win rate showing a lot of what it's good for.
Cut the stream printers. Just cut it. Cut it. Cut it. We're done here. We're done.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. I've had enough. I'm going to bed. Goodbye.